Welcome to the latest Wax Ecstatic Pack Break. I'm your host, Matt Sammon, and this week we're not only answering your questions and taking your comments and suggestions through a little listener mailbag episode, but also we're going to be taking a look at a really unique, fun, interesting item, something that I had no idea even existed up until just a few weeks ago. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the 1990 Topps Heads Up Baseball Stars. And as you can see by looking at this picture here, this was an effort by Topps to bring your favorite player to you or your school locker. But in what was basically a predecessor to what we know today as the Fathead decor, Topps was taking pictures of your favorite ball players and putting them into basically 3x5 inch size form. And you could stick them onto your bedroom door or your wall or a mirror, or with the assistance of the suction cup here, stick it on your high school locker or wherever you felt like putting these. Now, how did I not know about this? Well, this came out in 1990. And for me personally, in 1990, I was a little busy just collecting regular old baseball cards. And chances are you were too, so you may not even know about this particular product. 1990 was still the year of the base sets. Still had your rookie card drive. You were still snapping up the brand new cards from Upper Deck. You were seeing a revitalized Bowman product. You were looking at some outstanding sets from Topps and Fleer and Score, and all right, Donruss was there and certainly wasn't outstanding in 1990. But you were probably too busy looking at those base sets before the days of the insert card mania and premium sets that would soon come out later. Now, you were looking at this base set. You weren't looking at the floating heads here. And as you can see here, each package has one pinup, and you can collect all 24. And just by looking at the cover here, you see, all right, yeah, there's some pretty noteworthy stars. We've got Ken Griffey Jr., we've got Rafael Palmeiro, we've got Dennis Eckersley, all big stars in 1990. But you'll see in just a moment why perhaps you missed this, and a lot of collectors did, and why Topps only did this for 1 year. Now, in this upcoming weekend's podcast, that's right, we'll have a podcast for you on January 29th. We'll go into some more details as to why Topps kind of missed the boat on this opportunity here. But I'll give you a hint as to why this was not very well received. So here's the checklist of all the players that you can get. And let me just bring this up nice and close here. So, man, you got some heavy hitters right off the bat here. Gwynn, Clark, Gooden, Eck, Griffey, Craig Biggio, all right, young start here. Saberhagen, Bo. So, you just go down this list here, some pretty notable names. Let's go back to the top of the list here, side 2. Pretty notable names here. I mean, who in 1990 didn't want Canseco or Mattingly or Puckett? And then, okay, there's Tom Gordon, and then, okay, there's Craig Worthington, okay, there's Dwight Smith, and Jerome Walton. Okay, clearly, this is like when you had to do a 10-page book report in middle school, and you had enough material for 8 pages, and then you were really just kind of filling for the last 2 pages. I think in 1990, that's what Topps was doing here. You had 20 pretty decent ball players, and then you're kind of stretching here, those last 4. No offense to any of those guys, because they've played far more baseball than I ever have. But Jerome Walton, Dwight Smith, Craig Worthington, Tom Gordon, not exactly Tony Gwynn, Will Clark, Doc Gooden, or Dennis Eckersley. So let's take a look at these. These are, by the way, still very affordable. You can find them on eBay. And as I'll explain in the show, while these are affordable, if you can find your hands holding on to a 1989 prototype, you've got a collectible. Now, here you go. This is Dennis Eckersley staring deep into your soul and clearly telling you not to discuss that pitch that he gave to Kirk Gibson in Game 1 of the '88 World Series. Now this measures, let's see, yeah, probably from ear to ear or mullet tail to mullet tail, probably about 3 inches. Top to bottom, you're looking at probably about 5 inches here. So if you ever wanted a haunting Dennis Eckersley head, just kind of floating in your room, in your locker, there you go. You have it. Flip it over on the back here. Very simple design here. It's clearly not made to inform or entertain you. It just tells you this is Dennis Eckersley of the Oakland Athletics. It's face number 4 of 24. And here you have some adhesive tape. So this would be an easy way to stick it to a wall or a door. And then you've got the suction cup, which I would imagine, let me see if I can find a surface here. Let's see, all these years later, does it still stick? Not a very rigid surface. It's a soft book, but let's see. Oh, look at that. Even on the, oops, yeah, like I said, it's not rigid. Here, let me find a rigid surface. Got a ballpark book here. Let me just smack this right on the ballpark book. So here you go. Dennis Eckersley floating, albeit for a short amount of time, on Citizens Bank Ballpark. Oh, and now he's disappeared. So much like the bubble gum in those old baseball card packs, the suction cups don't quite have the grip that they used to. All right, let's see what else we got here. So we do have a bona fide Hall of Famer in Dennis Eckersley. Pack number 2. What do we have here? We've got Jim Abbott. Look at that. Happy Jim Abbott. Classic California Angel halo. Young star, number 16 of 24. Of course, he would have a bit of a revival with the Yankees. You know, this is very hypnotic when you look at it. I am Jim Abbott. Feed me peanut butter. I don't know if he likes peanut butter, but see, and then you can have, you know, this almost looks like those old Jib Jab videos. Remember those back in the day? Take me out to the ball game. Okay, let's see what number 3 is. Do we have a bona fide star, or do we have the tail end of the checklist? I feel like Karnak the Magnificent opening these up here. We have Greg Olson, everybody. Who doesn't like a relief pitcher for a fairly average Baltimore Orioles team? Although Greg Olson clearly looks like he knows something about you. He knows what you did last summer, and he will blackmail you for it. So in these 3 heads up here that I got, we have the Hall of Famer. We have the inspiring story of a Olympic gold medalist, no-hitter pitcher. And then we've got fathead Greg Olson just kind of staring back at you. No hitters, but some pretty good, notable, memorable names from 1990. So, looking at the checklist here, did we get a Griffey or a Biggio or a Gwynn? No. But we certainly got some quality names, and definitely not the bottom of the pack here. So I will not be collecting all 24, and I will probably leave these floating heads for my 11-year-old son to dally with and make all sorts of creative videos. But it was neat opening up these old heads-up. I'm going to get the good wrapper here. These old heads-up baseball stars collectibles. Quite the interesting collectible that, again, the 1990 version is still very much available and very much affordable. And I'll give you some ideas on how you can get those. Plus, if you have a whole lot of extra cash, how you should be on the lookout for the 1989 version, which was a prototype version, a test version that is worth a lot of money because not a whole lot of those were out there. And this is another example of the waning days of pure fun in the hobby, as everything was shifting to making money off of every card that you pulled, not just for the makers, but for collectors too. It's kind of a sad end in that time in the hobby, a little bit of a change as well. So we'll bring all of that up. And again, your questions, comments, thoughts, suggestions via our listener mailbag. That'll be coming up in our new podcast. This Friday, January 29th, drops at noon Eastern via Audio Boom and all along our RSS feed. So look for us too on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Stitcher, Blueberry, Google Play, Spotify, wherever you listen to Wax Ecstatic. I'm your host, Matt Sammon. Thanks for watching, and remember, Dennis Eckersley does not want you to talk about that pitch. No! Adios!